Morning has broken like the first morning. Blackbird has spoken like the first bird. Praise for the singing, praise for the morning, praise for them springing fresh from the
Good morning, Napa Valley. So good to see everybody today on this daylight savings. Look like some people are saving their hour a little bit longer before they get here today, and that's fine. We just bless you who are here, those who are joining us online. We love you and adore you and are so happy to be here today. I'm Reverend Jay Lang, and we're here for another exciting day at the Napa Valley Center for Spiritual Living, starting out with our music with Rebecca Edwards. Let's please welcome her.
Good morning. I'm going to do a song by Ricky Byers. You may have heard it before, and if you haven't, I will give you cues at the end of each verse. I'll give you one word, and you'll understand. It's pour yourself in me. Pour yourself in me. Pour yourself into my heart. Whoa, wonderful Spirit. We'll do that one again. Pour yourself in me. Pour yourself into my heart. Whoa, wonderful Spirit. And the next one, pour your joy in me. Pour your joy in me. Pour your joy into my heart. Whoa, wonderful Spirit. Pour your joy again. Pour your joy in me. Pour your joy into my heart. Whoa, wonderful Spirit. Pour your love. Pour your love in me. Pour your love into my heart. Whoa, wonderful Spirit. Pour your love again. Pour your love in me. Pour your love into my heart. Whoa, wonderful Spirit. Pour your love. Pour your love in me. Pour your love into my heart. Whoa, wonderful Spirit. Shine your light. Shine your light in me. Shine your light into my heart. Whoa, wonderful Spirit. Shine your light. Shine your light in me. Shine your light into my heart. Whoa, wonderful Spirit.
What a beautiful affirmation this morning, just to allow that love and that joy and that light to pour into us and bring us into this place of sacredness, this place of love. I know that we all hold dear in our hearts in areas where there are conflict, including the Ukraine and Yemen and other places around the world. And so we just hold this light for them. We allow this love and this light to pour into them, pour into these countries, places where there is conflict. Marv Leitner brought in some sunflowers this morning. I understand they're the national flower of the Ukraine. So we can just see the sun shining on them throughout this service. And I think that's a good affirmation to buy sunflowers as a symbol of peace. And we still are holding the picture that a congregant painted. I think these are all symbols of the Ukrainian flag colors we have here, holding the light and the love for them as well. So we continue to do that in our prayers and in our meditations to hold the peace for them. So before we begin our regular service, we like to give our vision and mission, because I think it is holding this peace and being this peace that we want to see in the world as part of our vision and mission. So we repeat the vision and mission by simply saying, we are an inclusive community for spiritual growth and compassionate action. And our mission statement, we are co-creating a world that works for everyone by living intentionally, loving unconditionally, and seeing God in all people and all faiths. A great affirmation for this morning. So We'd like to welcome all of you. If I mentioned it earlier, but some of you just come in, maybe some of you are just tuning in, know that all are welcome at this center and all are invited to be a part of the spiritual truths that are being revealed in your everyday life as you gain tools and awarenesses here at this center to live a happier life, a life of choice. So glad to have you with us here today. A few announcements before we begin our regular part of our service. First of all, it is a happy Women's History Month. We're always celebrating that during this month. I'll be in my talk referring to women who have been spiritual leaders, political leaders, community leaders, and all that they've done to make this world an incredible and beautiful place. That I've always talked about the feminine energy that we all have, but it's most present in women, that they're inclusive and they make sure everybody has a place. And we want to make sure that this center is always that, with that in mind, with spirit in mind. A couple other things. The most important thing coming up in May is our annual Sippin, Savor event. We're celebrating compassionate action this year. So part of this event, we'll have food and wine tasting and an auction. And we're currently looking for auction items. If you have something to donate or know somebody who might donate something, an artist, a winery, who might donate wine or art or jewelry, this is, valuable items, not used items, but items that are of value. Including maybe trips you might be a part of, gift certificates to restaurants or stores or winery tours or anything like that. So we really appreciate it. And there's forms available to you here today, as well as those forms you can hand out, you can give to people, wineries or individuals or restaurants you might know. We'll also be sending that out to you on email, so you can have it as an email form. I'll send out that this afternoon, so you can simply pass on an email with your own personal greeting on that to give to somebody about that. And then we're also, as part of this event, like I said, wine tasting, so to reach out to wineries to actually pour wine at our event. So that makes it a wonderful event to do. And then we're also, for this year, or last year we gave it a different kind of award, but we're kind of in keeping with this. We're giving Compassionate Award this year, Compassionate Heart Award we're calling it. And so you can nominate someone for this award, and there's forms for that in the lobby, as well as I'll be sending out that on email as well to you, get that information about the Compassionate Heart Award. We're excited about that. So 3 individuals who have in this valley, local individuals who have made a difference in this valley. So it'll be fun to honor them during that event. And then also after every service, we have a kind of just a discussion outside. We'll bring some chairs out and have a moment to talk about, maybe it's about the message today, maybe it's about just life in general that we want to talk about. And then this is also the Sunday of our Spanish-speaking services with Imelda and Martha. We welcome that. If you know anybody whose primary language is Spanish, make sure they know we have services on the 2nd and 4th Sundays right here in the sanctuary. So that'll start at 12:30 here in the sanctuary. And then we're still looking for people who might want the peace pole in your front yard as part of our fundraiser. Let Mary Ward know about it, or there's a form online. Sister Spirit is coming up. That's up in Seattle, so it's a travel thing, but airfare is cheap, and it's an extraordinary, transformative retreat, or that's what I've heard. They haven't invited me yet, but probably won't be. Never, somebody says here, never. That's okay. And we're restarting our meditation time, but a new time, Wednesdays at 5:30. Please join us for that. Open to anybody, beginners or people that want to practice meditation more. And if there's any more information you want to find out, it's on our website. All the information is there, or to call Mary, because Mary knows everything. Or if she doesn't know everything, she knows who to ask. How about that? So now we'll begin the sacred part of our service. Yes. I'm sorry, what? Okay, that's fine.
There is only love. In this moment, in this place, I remember who I am, letting fear and worry fall away from me. I open my eyes and see there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets me free. There is only love. Again. There is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets me free. There is only love sets us free this time. There is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love.
Good morning to all of you. Welcome here. And I would like to continue with this environment, the peace and love, and invite you to close your eyes if you feel comfortable. Knowing and recognizing the only one love, one God, the peace on earth. I recognize the peace in Ukraine and Russia and every single part of the world, knowing that the God is in here, there, in any place, above, in the bottom, in the left, in the right of us. And I know we are one. We are one with all humans, with all people, created from the same substance, from the same love. And I know this moment is perfect, beautiful, and shiny day. And I know the presence of God, it is in this service, in this space. And knowing that, I give thanks. I give thanks for this moment, for being together, for celebrating this day and this service. And so it is. Amen. Thank you for being here this morning, and I'm so happy to share with you today, because the theme of the month, it is Playful Spirit. And when I was preparing this little message, I asked myself, when it was the last time that I played the game that I used to play when I was little, when I was in the school with my friends. And the game that I used to play, was hide and seek. And it was very funny. And I asked myself, when it was the last time that I played that game? And I think it was like 5 years ago, when my daughter, she was 10 years old, and she usually invite us, to play my husband and I, she used to invite us at night to play that game. And it was fun, it was fun. And I said, I'm gonna make question to you. When it was the last time that you played that game when you used to play when you were little? So this is going to be your homework today for you. Ask yourself when it was the last time that you played. Because, play is part of our life. It's part of feel free. It's part of feel experience joy. It's part of the, when we experience joy or fun, I think we can heal our bodies. We can heal our soul. And I want to share with you a little story that my mom used to share with us when we were little. My mom has 4 siblings, and my grandma, she used to be so demanding and abusive. And every single one has her chores to do in home. But one day, one of my aunts broken her leg. Something happened on her leg, not broken. Something happened, and she said, "Mom, I cannot do anything because my leg hurt." And she said, "Okay, you're not going to do anything today." So she divided the chores in the rest of the 3. And they finished, and after they finished their chores, they decide to play jump the rope. And my aunt, supposed to be who had the, and then she saw them, and then she decided to start playing with them. She started jumping the rope normally. And then my grandma came back, and she said, excuse me, it's supposed to be, you cannot do anything because you have something in your leg." And my aunt answered to her, "Mom, it's because when I remember, it hurt me. And when I don't remember, it doesn't hurt me." So which it is true, it is true. The most we thinking in the situation, the most overthinking is worse. Our body gets worse and everything gets worse. Any situation, financial, family issues, relationship, anything that we or you are crossing, when we overthinking, that gets worse. So my invitation today, it is go back home and play and have fun and enjoy. So I invite you to put your hand on your heart and repeat with me. I promise myself, have fun, laugh, and play. Again, I promise myself, have fun, play, and laugh. One more time. I promise myself, have fun, play, and laugh. And so it is.
I wrote a song that I kind of had under some stacks of music for a while, and I brought it out, so I'm going to sing that to you. There in your heart, when you are most uncertain, know it or not, I live. And on those days when you find yourself running away, I stay. Oh, did you think I'd leave you? Oh, let you walk through this alone. And on those days when you find yourself running away, I stay.
That was beautiful, Rebecca. Some sweet songs you're playing today. Very peaceful and knowing the truth. Thank you. I watched that microphone stand because we lost a bowl one time because of a microphone stand. So I'm kind of going, oh, thank you, Imelda. Oh, so good to be here today and to know. I thank you for introducing this theme today about playful spirit. I know that the world is a mess right now. I don't know what else to say about it. But I think a playful spirit is called for even when there are disasters, pandemics, and tragic violence. Even when there's personal challenges, perhaps for yourself or for a family member or a friend, of health or relationships or personal understanding. Not only is it called for, but I think, in fact, that's when you most need it, is a sense of humor, is to take yourself lightly, to be present with yourself. I know often I say insurmountable obstacles go deeper, but I'm kind of rethinking that. I think we want to go deeper within to stop and contemplate, but we also want to go lighter because it is in the light that healing happens. Not in the heaviness, not in focusing on the problem that you were talking about, on our leg or whatever that is. It was a great story because we do that, right? We focus on the problem and we need to gain, I think humor gives us perspective. Now, I'm not suggesting we bypass anything that we need to feel, that we need to experience, so we need to grieve. We can do that and still have a sense of the light that is in the world, of a divine understanding of life itself. And I would even suggest that that the world itself has a kind of a sense of humor by just its incredible uniqueness that there is. The incredible uniqueness of life itself and the beauty and majesty of nature that's around us. And so in these idiosyncrasies that we have, it's amazing that we can just find a perspective about life itself and know that life is unfolding in perfect and beautiful ways, just the way it is, in its sacredness, as we just increase in joy. And if we need our back scratched a little bit, let's just cozy up and do that and increase in the joy that we know is the truth we have. I know even in, as I mentioned, even in times of disaster, in times of questioning about why something is the way it is, people have found their sense of humor. My inspiration is Viktor Frankl. I love his book on Search for Meaning. And even in the middle of the Holocaust that he survived, and many of his family members died in the Holocaust, he said, "I never would have made it if I could not have laughed. It lifted me momentarily out of this horrible situation I was in, just enough to make it livable." And I know stories I hear of African American slaves who survived because of song and stories and humor themselves. So if they can do that, then I can do that through what I consider just a little leg pain that I've got going on. Or even big things, that I can feel it and I can find the laughter, maybe not even laughter, but just a lightness of being that I can be, that I can lift myself up and eventually find joy that's there. Today, the particular message I have is a spoonful of humor is the best medicine, which is a combination, of course, of the proverb about laughter is the best medicine. It was it's conventional proverb, but it was also made famous by the Reader's Digest ongoing humor article. Reader's Digest is now, I think, online only. But also for Mary Poppins, who said a spoonful of sugar makes the medicine go down in a what? A most delightful way. So we know that, and that is it's about medicine, but it's really about life, about the ordinariness of life can be sparked with an element of fun. You find the fun and the snap. The job's a game. You know, the lightness, and once again, it's the lightness of being that we have. I remember seeing Julie Andrews and her mini movies in the theaters, and they were a little corny, but as a kid, they were just so fun. And I think a lot of our laughter, to make laughter easy, to make a sense of humor easy, to find the greater truth that we are. Mirabai Bush, who wrote a book with, do we have a problem with the PowerPoint? What is going on? What power? Okay. All right, give me a moment. A parallel about a laptop, because when we rejuice ourselves, do we do it when it's the first warning that says pretty soon you're going to need to do it, or do you wait till the absolute last minute, like do it now or you're going to lose everything kind of thing? So to redo ourselves. So I'll come back to that quote in a minute when I can move forward to this. It seems to be stuck because of that. But what we know about humor is that by research, it boosts your immunity, lowers your stress hormones, just decreases pain, relaxes muscle, prevents heart disease, and they've even found it produces T cells, which are anti-cancer cells. So there's some research that does it. Now, as I mentioned, we want to laugh easily, right? I want you to what? So when I tell you these jokes, you're supposed to laugh easily. So some really bad humor this morning to test whether you could laugh easily. Are you ready? So the first one is a pastrami sandwich walks into a bar and orders a beer. The bartender says, "Sorry, we don't serve food here." Thank you. Thank you very much. Why did the Clydesdale give the pony a glass of water? Because he was a little horse. Why did the scarecrow win an award? Because he was outstanding in his field. And why shouldn't you write with a broken pencil? Because it's pointless. Somebody had heard that one already. What's brown and sticky? A stick. What did the policeman say to his belly? You're under a vest. I know. Oh my God, come on. Why do people say break a leg when you go on stage? Because every play has a cast. Why are there gates around cemeteries? Because people are dying to get in. Why do bees have sticky hair? Because they have honeycombs. And finally, this one you got to remember because you can say, wait, hang on. You got to hear it before you clap. Why do seagulls fly over the sea? Because if they flew over the bay, they would be bagels. So when you're by the bay, San Pablo or San Francisco Bay, you look at the birds over the bay, you go, those are bagels. So life is too short not to laugh, not to find a sense of humor. When you can, there are times it's going to be hard to find laughter. There's no doubt about that. And we seek to find the lightness of being for healing. The author, Catherine Fenwick, said that your body cannot heal without play. Your mind cannot heal without laughter. Your soul cannot heal without joy. So what I would suggest in my first point today is let's heal our body with play, our mind with laughter, and our soul with joy. To seek out that, to seek out the play, the laughter, and the joy for healing our body, mind, and soul. Now, what I know is that the road to health is like the road to wealth. Many people who have lots of money don't feel, they feel a lack, they feel poor. And there are some people who don't have much money in their bank account, but they're quite happy and they feel abundant. So the same thing is with our health, that we can be struggling with a particular diagnosis or a particular pain or a particular situation, but we can have a vital life force in us that we feel healthy. And somebody who is completely healthy, symptom-free, doesn't necessarily feel that health. They feel like right around the corner they're going to get sick from something. So we're talking about a life force within us that is engaged, that is created by a sense of humor, a laughter, and engaging in life and finding joy, that it actually increases the life force that we can experience. Even when we're diagnosed with a certain situation or where we have a problem or challenged by something, we can find this life force and engage in it and get it enacted by this lightness of being, a laughter. There was one of the original New Thought, this is a New Thought center, which includes Unity, Divine Science, Independent Religious Science Churches, and us, the Centers for Spiritual Living. And one of our early founders, called the father of New Thought, his name was Phineas Parker Quimby. And he had a condition, and he was trying to find, the doctors at the time were not really, Western medicine hadn't evolved, and they weren't helping him at all. And he was just struggling with his health all the time. I think it was tuberculosis mostly, but he had some other conditions going on. And he found when he went out and galloped his horse vigorously, that the life force within him would increase. And so he made some theories about that, and he worked with hypnotism, but he worked with this life force, increased it. And jump ahead another 100 years later, and there was a woman named Emma Curtis Hopkins. Now, Emma Curtis Hopkins was called the teacher of teachers, and she taught many of the founders of these New Thought centers. But she thought she was rather a stoic woman, and she didn't think that it was very practical to go riding our horse around all the time. She didn't even own a horse. She lived in Chicago. But she found a way to tap into her life force within her through prayer and meditation and connected with it. And she had 5,000 students, and this was in the early 1900s in Chicago. People had to travel there. It's incredible the kind of teacher she was. Towards the end of her life, Ernest Holmes was a young man at that time, and he came to her, and it was toward the end, like I mentioned, one of her last students was Ernest Holmes. And she was still this very stoic person. And he began to, he gained wisdom from her and appreciated her and honored her for all she did. But in these private sessions he had with her, he was trying to make her be more personal, trying to kind of tease her or be in the moment and make her, and it ended up they gained a relationship of joy between each other that she didn't have with other students, because he was willing to be vulnerable and willing to be joyful. And I think Ernest Holmes describes it as finding great inspiration from her in this joy that they found together. And it's important that we talk about this humor and we talk about healing. I want to separate that healing is not always a cure, and cure is not always a healing. Let's think about that for a moment. I first came across this concept from Louise Hay, who during the early 80s was working with AIDS patients. She would have these big gatherings of several hundred people who had AIDS. And she would do processes with them that they would find love for themselves and love for other people. And there was so much healing happening. And some of those people died from AIDS. It didn't mean that healing wasn't true. It was accurate and true. And some of us gain healing before we pass from a condition. And some people who have cures don't take the time to go through the healing process. And it's just important for us in the life we have, no matter how long or short it may be, that we seek this healing. And humor is definitely a way for this to happen. It's a pathway of healing. Perhaps considered, if we want to talk about it, the best medicine. It is, I don't know if the best medicine, but it's definitely one of the really good medicines because we can enjoy the life we have. The Native Americans talk about medicine not in the Western sense of pills and procedures, but medicine that is activity or things that we do to create health and healing in our body. They carry medicine pouches that don't have pills in them, but they have things that are sacred to them and bring about healing in their body and their mind and their soul. And so we seek the things in our lives and integration with Western medicine, no doubt, but things that bring us joy and bring us deeper connection. I want to introduce you to a person named Saran Rothberg. She believed that laughter has a way of connecting to souls. And Shauna, can you make sure the sound is on the television? Because I have a video that has sound. That because of a misdiagnosis, she ended up with stage 4 breast cancer. And but because she believed in laughter, right away she turned to her sense of humor.
The minute I was diagnosed, as a reaction, I went to the video stores. I got every stand-up comedy tape I could find.
Rothberg was already familiar with the writings of Norman Cousins, who curbed his own pain with laughter.
We should have just done a mohawk for 5 minutes.
Yet even as Rothberg, a former child actor, remembers making a game out of losing her hair, she also recalls the first chemo treatment knocked her for a loop.
The whole time, I literally had my head in the trash can. I kept thinking, this will pass. This will pass. Something good will come of this.
I really was the one who tried to make her laugh because my mom said that it was really funny. I would do silly dances and I would do a lot of funny faces.
Mother and daughter even composed a rap about hair loss to brace for any unkind comments they might hear.
Chemo should be illegal. Made my mom bald as an eagle. You know what? The one time a child said something to her, she had this song in every fiber of her.
And soon a crusade called Comedy Cures was born.
I keep a joke book next to my bed.
Saren and L'Oreal, who's now 7, have taken their act to Gilda's Club in northern New Jersey, where other cancer patients learn the connection between chuckles and wellness.
The studies show that laughing 100 times a day is like rowing on a rowing machine for 10 minutes or bicycling for 20 minutes. I heard you guys are the funniest school in New York City. Is that true?
So what's interesting about this story is this was shot, I showed you an old video. This was done in the late 90s. The fact that she went to the video store and rented video, I should tell you about when this was. And she, with her daughter, they continued to do different things. And one thing they did was did a laugh line. And I tried it out. It actually works still, 188, ha, 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 ha. And it has jokes on it, and you can leave a message to leave your own joke on it. But her whole thing was about 100 laughs a day. Now, through all this, guess what? Her cancer got worse. And it's possible it wouldn't have worked. It's possible that the only thing happened was the healing that happened within her. Now, the truth is she did survive it. She went on still adding her comedy to the world now. And by the way, this is her daughter next to her now, 20 plus years later. And she's done so many things to bring laughter and comedy to the people who have cancer on many different levels, as well as she's done things during the pandemic for people that are just isolated and depressed and struggling with anxiety. She's done virtual programs, brought in other comedians and programming on you name it, on relationships, on healing, on anxiety, depression, that she's just been a force in doing this. So it's wonderful that she's been able to do this and continue to be connected herself to this sense of humor. And like I said, some people might say she bypassed her feelings or her grief around her condition. But if that's denial, sign me up for that. Because I know, I am committed to feeling. I'm committed to allowing my feelings to come. I'm also going to allow a sense of lightness, because that's where the healing comes. When I was a teacher and a counselor in public schools, I had this pattern of every break getting sick. And I just was frustrated by that, because what I wanted was to have fun during my breaks, not to be recovering. And so I began to look deeper at the pattern that I was having, and I recognized that right before every break there was a stress. Just like if you were going on vacation or something, there's that rapid thing you have to do to try and get everything buttoned up before you go on vacation. Well, I was doing that every time, so I just needed to backtrack a little bit and find space before break to find the sense of humor. And in truth, there was lots of things to laugh at that I was missing. Anybody in public schools or any parent or aunt or uncle, no kids, are just hilarious, And to enjoy that moment and not to bypass it and give up on, thinking I had to get certain things done. So I developed a whole philosophy to laugh easier. I have 2 sons, and I would sit down and watch movies, just these classic movies like Dumb and Dumber or Spaceballs or Airplane or Best of Show. These really dumb and dumber movies, right? But it was fun to laugh at them, especially through their eyes and what they saw was funny. And I believe if we practice laughing easily, then that raises this life force vibration in us. Or just to see things lightly with a sense of humor, to laugh at ourselves as well. And so the second thing that I want to say is that we turn our daily routine into a humor routine. To look at life in a lens of not laughing at other people. I definitely don't do that, and I don't want anybody to do that. But just to laugh at the idiosyncrasies of life. I ran across a cartoonist who talked about the pandemic, and maybe we can laugh more about it now that it's almost over. But how something to wear before COVID and after COVID, where there was nothing there, little sweatpants and things like that. Before COVID, somebody wearing a mask, you'd say, "What's wrong with you? Are you sick?" After COVID, the person wearing the mask is saying, "What's wrong with you not wearing the mask," right? And our weekend plans before COVID full, and after COVID, there's nothing there on our phones. And then how we spend money is simplified during COVID time. It's pretty much Amazon, groceries, and utilities. And then our calendar is just scratch marks on the wall, like, is it over yet? Is it over? Well, it's almost over. You think, now I don't know if you follow this EDC, but we're in the green zone I know, let's give ourselves a round of applause. We made it, and it's because of you guys continuing to wear your mask and doing what you can to stay safe and keep others safe. We appreciate that. We'll be announcing soon when we can take our mask off in the sanctuary. It'll be optional. If you want to continue wearing, no one's going to shame you for it. So I promise you, what's wrong with you? But I also wanted to introduce you to Rahaf Harfush, I believe is how you say her name. She was an interesting person. She is an interesting person. She had run herself very tired because she was an international speaker and lecturer, wanted all around the world, and she was having trouble saying no because people appreciated her value as a corporate trainer and a wisdom speaker, and she was also making a lot of money doing it, So she was sleeping just a few hours of sleep a night and traveling different time zones, and just until one day she woke up and she literally could not move. Could not move. There was not, she was fully awake, but her body would just not move. So she began to think, and she began to just cancel her whole schedule and restart over one step at a time. She says that we have this constant narrative in our mind that if we're not hustling, then we're shameful and we don't deserve our own success. If we're not always moving and doing and active, then we can be shameful of it and shame ourselves. And the truth is, she said, we can't be productive and creative at the same time. It's hard to do that. It's possible, but it's not effective, not efficient. She recommends something she calls hustle and float. She got this from friends of hers that were whitewater rafters, where you would have this hustle during when the rapids were full and high, and you would hustle with your paddling, but then there was float time, and to recover during that time, to give yourself a chance to float. And why I bring her up is because I think we can spend some time floating, like me in the school system, like you in your daily life. Find moments to float. Don't feel like you have to go all the time. And it's in that space where healing and creativity happens. And so finally, I want to bring in this idea to embody humor and healing. Many of you have seen this laughing Buddha, it's called. It's actually a statue based on a real person who lived in the 10th century. He was a Buddhist. He wasn't the Buddha, but he was a Buddhist. But he was nomadic and traveled from town to town and just giving joy and laughter. So he's used today as kind of a archetype, not particularly a statue of the actual person, but an archetype with many different versions of it. But they all bring you to a sense of joy, and it's about contentment and abundance and happiness right where you are. It brings me to mind Hafiz, who said, God and I have become like two giant fat people in a tiny boat. We keep bumping into each other and laughing. May not be very PC, but he wrote it a long time ago. And I just think of that when, like two fat people in a tiny boat, God and I, we keep bumping into each other. And Meister Eckhart, another mystic like Hafiz, said, my Lord told me a joke, and seeing him laugh has done more for me than any scripture I will ever read. So it is this life we know, this abundance by simply being. Marilyn Leo, in the most recent Science of Mind magazine, wrote an article about that peace is not a destination, but a process of becoming. So a process of becoming is peace, is joy. It's not about getting there. We're never, peace is never lasting forever unless we're willing to allow it to become. We think of conflicts in the world, they erupt, and peace will come. And peace will come more quickly when we're going to know this peace within us, we know this joy within us. And your own healing will happen faster when you allow the peace and the joy to become within you. My final thought is from a poet, Anne Shimi. She says that stars Up in the sky, shining light, so bright all can see. The twinkling stars talk back to me. The universe is one. The star in me reflecting all that we see, think, and do. Next time you wish upon a star, remember who you are. You are the star. So when you look at a star, when you look at a flower, when you look at another person, when you look at your own, that which you are seeking to heal, know that it is a light emerging, that you are the light, they are the light, and we are the light. Let us go to prayer. What I know in this moment is there is only God. There is only light. There is only light becoming within us, within every person, as we spread this light to all parts of the world. We spread this love to all parts of the world. For we are one and can know this light for all of life because it is part of life already, and it is our recognition of it, our revelation of it within us that creates and magnifies that light, brings reminders of other people to know their light. And it is in the lightness of being that our healing happens, and the healing on this planet, and the healing in all people. And we know in this moment that it is already so simply by our affirming it. And together we affirm it by saying, and so it is.
That was really nice. I needed to hear about laughter. Maybe we all did. I don't know. But yeah, laughing 100 times a day. And I've got to say, when you first started that joke, I thought that a pastrami sandwich walking into a bar, that was the joke. I mean, that just cracked me up. I wrote this song a few years ago when I decided to make a CD. I was losing faith in such a troubled world. When a gentle voice woke me from my sleep, it said, as sure as the sun still burns in the sky, love is strong and it will abide. Spirit is finding its song in the heart that's willing to sing. Spirit will always find its way. And the dreamer awakes from her sleep. Let me be brave. I've walked away before when I've heard the call of love. It's not too late for spirit to have its way in the world and in my life. Oh, let me be a light in the world. Heaven is making its home, yeah. Every time an open heart reaches out in trust again, and heaven is dwelling deep within. soul that is willing to surrender to its call. And Spirit is healing the world through you, through me, healing the world. Yeah. Da, 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 da. Thank you.
Thank you, Rebecca. So lovely music today. So it's interesting. This is our time when we invite you to be part of the law of circulation, the participate in circulation of knowing that that which you give of your time, talent, and treasures comes back to you tenfold. I want to take a moment just thinking of people that have given of their time and talent. In particular, I just want to acknowledge our production team. So before you say yes, let me list all of them, and then we'll give them all a round of applause. So on sound today is Taylor and Phil, and usually we also have another Phil, Marshall, as well as Jay Brooks. So let's give our sound team a round of applause. On production, we have Shauna Marshall and Sean, and we often have, we also have Michelle, and there's someone else I'm missing, and Mary. I thought there was somebody else. Anyway, let's give them a round of applause too. I knew there was somebody. Georgia. Let's Georgia included in that. My brain went blank there for a minute. So I just want to acknowledge them because they keep things going and remind me, don't forget this and do this and all those kind of things, and we appreciate all the people who have joined us online for that. So we have a variety of ways to give during this time. You can obviously, if you are here in person, give to the basket we have with financial contributions, but we also have online. You can text or use breeze.com to do donations or simply mail a check in. So today, let's take that which is your contribution today and bring it to your heart and repeat this affirmation. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate, and so it is. So you're welcome to participate if you want to come put your contributions up in the basket up front or in the back. And we'll have a song of gratitude.
And please join me in I Am So Blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. There we go. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
Thank you so much, and thank you for your contributions of time, talent, and treasures. We also like to just bless people who might be here for the first time, either online or here in person. If this happens to be your first time, would you be willing to raise your hand? A person up here? The first time? Okay, welcome. And we welcome anybody online who also is here for your first time. You can put in the chat box if you want to say you're new. We bless you and know that we welcome all people here, and we have time after the service for coffee and refreshments. Now the sun has come out, we'll be able to do that. Nice rain last night and nice sun today. So we have an affirmation for those of you who are new and for all people here who raise our hands and we say, we bless you today, knowing that the peace and happiness you seek is also seeking you. We honor your inner radiance as you let your light shine in the world. We are grateful for your presence in our community, and so it is. We're also blessing all the children out there that we will begin our youth services again in mid-April. We're preparing the space, and it'll be fun to have them once again. So it'll be good to have there. Let's say our community affirmation, if you'll repeat after me. Something wonderful is happening through me right now. Something wonderful is happening through me right now. I am led by Spirit. I am guided by wisdom. I am protected by love. I am here to be a blessing. I am so grateful. And so it is. And so for our final song, closing song, we thought we'd bring back the peace song because it seems to be appropriately called for. Now there's different words, so don't get too caught up in the words, but we can sing it just like it is. Rebecca, you want to come join me up here, and then because we do need a song leader at least. Let's all stand up. And if you want to hold hands, you can do it. The front row can turn around and face everybody else if you want to. Okay. Go ahead. Or hands up might be better. We're still in a hands up mode. How about that? What? If you want to, if you feel comfortable doing it, go ahead. So go ahead, Rebecca. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be. With God as our center, loved ones all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Lest there is peace on earth, and now it begins with me. So as we go forward, we know the peace within us, and we know the peace for all people. And so it is. Have a great Sunday.
I know your whole story. You have been more brave than you know. All this time that you've spent walking in the dark sun.